On July 4th, 1776, the United States declared its independence from Britain. Fast forward 245 years, give or take a few weeks, and we find two young lads embarking on a journey within this country to understand it and appreciate it in a way in which others can only dream. Those two lads are... me, Alec.
And me, Thomas. I don't know how to do the fancy voice thing, though.
Yeah, let's have a look at what happened.
Okay, so admittedly, all of that fanfare may have been a little bit excessive. But rest assured, Thomas and I did go on quite the adventure. Just let my past self explain what we were doing. Okay, so I've been at the gate for literally like 5 minutes, and I've already broken my watch into 2 different pieces. So we're off to a great start here.
Maybe it's time for my past self to help out.
I've been walking around this airport for like the past hour, just trying to find somewhere I don't feel super awkward recording video, and it has not worked. I feel super awkward right now. There's people walking. I'm just gonna stop.
You know, it might be best if we just narrate this part.
Thomas and I were challenging ourselves to find the geographic center of the contiguous United States.
Which is right here.
Or here.
Or maybe here?
Which is in this general region. This general region. Anywho, the real element of challenge came from the fact that we were not allowing ourselves to use cell phones, or any other form of electronic for that matter. No phones, no tablets, no laptops, nothing like that. Okay, yes, if we crashed the car, we were allowed to use a cell phone, but not to find the place. Now, admittedly, we did do some research ahead of time to know the general location of the geographic center, but we were very careful to make sure we didn't know any specifics. And because of that research, we knew that a good spot to start our journey would be Denver. And it is there we meet with my past self once again, who has, surprisingly, managed to fix his watch. Now that's not Denver, that's a water park. Also, Thomas is not here yet. He's not going to be here for about another 12 hours or so. So in the meantime, I'm going to go to the aquarium as well as to a Rockies game. Then we'll meet up and properly start our quest. Now that seems like a plan, but it does leave a question. Where's Thomas?
Well, it's a funny story.
So, my flight was delayed.
Okay, not that funny, but Alec's 12 hours may have been a little optimistic. Suffice to say, I needed to find some way to pass the time.
Probably find some food. I'm hungry.
And on that, musical note, it's probably time to check back in on Alec.
Alright, so I'm done at the aquarium. You might be able to see it kind of through the trees back there. Great aquarium, lots of fun. They have tigers, which makes anything good. So now I'm off to watch some baseball. The Rockies are playing the Padres, I believe. Decided to take part in the Rockies culture here. Doesn't fit my head very well, but not much does. Good game, though. Alright, so Rockies won. Very fun game. I enjoyed it a lot. Currently sitting in the purple row here, which indicates the exact point at which we are 1 mile above sea level here. So I'm literally a mile above sea level in the Mile High City. Heading back to the hotel room now. I think I actually know this part of Denver well enough now that I can get back without Google Maps. So kind of a little mini challenge to lead up to the big one. We'll see how it goes. Okay, so I thought I was setting up a nice, fun little joke there of, oh, I'm going to find a hotel on my own. No, I failed to do so. But I done screwed that up because I found the hotel on my own, which, might bode well for this whole thing that Thomas and I are trying. Might also be as good as it gets. Now, though, I'm going to kick back, relax a little bit, go get some dinner, and then at some point tonight, I'm going to get Thomas, assuming his flight isn't delayed, over and over and over again.
Meanwhile, over in the airport,
So I'm eating what is maybe the most expensive three-piece chicken tenders I've ever bought. But hey, it came with a rubber band. Time to board.
Alright, so Thomas just got off the plane. He should be coming any second now. We'll get a nice approaching shot.
Hey, buddy.
Huh.
together at last, we were finally able to go pick up what would become the hub of this great adventure of ours, the rental car.
We also asked them, and they did have like a paper map, so this is, that was kind of...
It's mostly Colorado. It does have like an eighth of Kansas on there, though. So.
Yeah, it's basically Colorado. I don't know if it's going to be very useful, but it's better than nothing.
And so, at about 1 a.m, we were finally settled and comfortable in our hotel down in Denver, ready to get some rest and prepare for the great adventure ahead.
Thank you.
We started the next morning feeling excited and ready to go.
Okay, so today we're gonna go to, gosh darn it, I kind of forgot what we were even saying.
Excited, ready to go, and maybe a little distractible.
Okay. So, go.
Yes. Extra difficult part. Yes. Alright.
No technology. We're gonna spend our entire day trying to get this tape. Did we film this part already? Oh no, that's not his part.
Somehow, we did eventually get a take that worked.
So as you already know, our goal for this trip is to find the geographic center of the contiguous United States. Now, in order to do so, we have to go east to Kansas. So today, we're going west, Rocky Mountain National Park.
I did say we were feeling distractible, but there was a slight chance that we would find a map while we were there, so that was our main excuse to go. Well, that and the fact that we just wanted to.
Alright, just got done at Hidden Valley. Very nice, but I got a flower stuck up my nose. Thomas broke the car. And yeah, we're gonna head off to someplace new now. Alright, Thomas, you able to spot the center from here? So which one is the Rocky Mountain? We did make a few other stops around the visitor center and got some lunch, but we didn't film much while we were there. After that, it was time to head back.
So, as a part of our little adventure trip here, Alec and I need to find some maps so that we can, try and use ideally one of the entire U.S. to sort of pinpoint the center in a way that I'm sure will be very scientific and impressive. And then we need one of Kansas so that we can sort of know where we're going when we're in Kansas. Yeah, we think we might be able to find a map in this town. We drove through it on the way to Rocky Mountain National Park. Now we're driving back from Rocky Mountain National Park. Estes, I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing that right, but we saw there was like maybe an outdoorsy kind of shop, so we're hoping if we go there, they might have a good selection of maps. We looked at a few gift shops in the park itself, but that was all just Colorado-based stuff, so no luck there. Oh, ice cream.
Now remember, no computers meant we couldn't even Google where to get a map. So this plan, if you could call it that, was entirely based on things that we happened to see along the way.
There's a bookshop. Will a bookshop have maps?
Possibly.
We had like an atlas or something. I wonder if we should
there it is, Outdoor World.
Oh, haha.
As it happened, the outdoor shop didn't have much for us, but the bookshop really paid off.
That is kind of exactly what we needed. Alright, we looked and looked, couldn't find one for Kansas. At least it's a darn sight better off than we were 10 minutes ago.
Absolutely.
I kind of want to open it right now. See?
I say why not?
Let's have a look.
That sound really got me worried there. Oh boy. Oh boy.
Wait, we need to turn it so they can see it. What are you doing? This will be our map for this little trip here. Yep.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
It's all coming together. Oh, the roads are actually more detailed.
Yeah, there's more roads on here. Maybe we don't even need a Kansas map. Yeah, so basically we're going to want... Oh, you can't actually see where I'm pointing. So we're going to... Here's Denver. We're going to want to take 70 into Kansas, probably. Right?
Do we count the keys for this or not? They're not contiguous.
Here's the thing, like...
it's going to throw us off a fair bit if we do or don't.
Well, I don't know, because do we just draw a box around it? Because then, like, we were talking, like, Maine is over here, and it's like...
Right.
I guess the south...
Well, and the southern point is almost definitely Florida. Because, like,
yeah. Well, Texas...
Texas gives it a run for its money, but I really think Florida's...
I think, yeah, if you're...
As you can tell, we really hadn't thought this through.
This is more complicated than I thought.
Yeah.
Still, we were feeling optimistic as we drove home that evening. The rest of the day was spent with some family that happened to be in the same vicinity. Then we went back to the hotel so we could be well rested come morning.
What's going on?
I've been thinking about this thing. Going out to the center of the contiguous United States.
Okay.
I've just been wondering, can I do it? Can I get there with no phone, no GPS, no laptops, nothing like that? But it's a really nice kind of moment where I realized I've been thinking about it the wrong way. The question isn't, can I find the center? It's Kansas.
You woke me up.
Good night.
Day 3 had arrived, and it was time for us to find the center. But before we could hit the road, we first had to use that map we found to pinpoint where we were trying to get to.
Not on the map, Thomas.
From our limited research, we had a vague notion that the center lay somewhere in northern Kansas. Everything else, we had to figure out for ourselves. We tried several different methods to calculate it using our big new map, but none of them landed us anywhere close to that northern Kansas target.
So we decided that we were clearly more qualified than the professionals at the map printing factory and wanted to do our own measurements. So we went to the hardware store and bought a measuring tape, and we just kind of used it as a glorified straight edge before deciding that we were hopelessly unqualified as cartographers, and it was probably best just to drive into Kansas and hope for the best.
So that's what we did. But first, we had to get out of Denver, and that turned out to be a little more complicated than anticipated.
What is the street that we were on outside?
I can't remember, but we're really close to 16th Street.
You know the C... It's 13. That's Avenue. This does not know where the streets are.
It's not very detailed, no.
There's no way Denver's this small, right?
I think this map is just zoomed out and undetailed.
What a useless map! Where's the "you are here"?
It's not like the entire trip is based off our ability to properly use paper maps.
It's at this point I should probably tell you that the actually useful map of Denver happened to be on the other side of that page we were holding. We just never thought to turn it around.
So I did just find Coors Field labeled on here, which is kind of where we were. And since we're heading whatever direction now, we haven't crossed over 70 yet. So I think we're south of 70.
40 west.
40 west, okay. I don't see 40 west on here. Oh no, I found it. Okay, so we are certainly south of it. We have that much figured out.
The main goal was simple: get to I-70. But to do that, our plan was essentially drive around until we found a sign for a bigger road, a road we could actually find on the map, then get on that bigger road and go from there.
To 25 south. Is that going to send us in the wrong direction?
No, I think we're doing okay. I have 25 on the map here, so... Okay.
This plan was going fine, until we hit traffic, at which point a new approach was in order. One which Alec quite eloquently articulated.
Alright, well, I guess if you find an exit, get off there, and then get boogieing. It's been kind of sad the whole trip. It's just us like driving around Denver. Is this 8th Avenue or 8th Street? Because I found 8th Avenue on here.
I'm apparently going on to Zuni Street right now.
Zuni Street? Okay, go right here, and then keep going, because I think we're going to try and bypass 25 and the traffic mess that's there now.
Okay.
And go up till you find Quebec Street. That will intersect with 70, and hopefully there's an entrance there.
Things were finally looking up. Then this happened.
Alright, so we're currently turning onto another street from a one-way street, which apparently we were going the wrong direction on.
There were other cars
We
with us.
were definitely going like the right direction for a while, then all of a sudden there were a bunch of cars in front of us facing the other direction.
Our completely unfounded confidence had been shattered.
East or west?
Oh, no. Oh, gosh darn it. Oh boy.
But we're Thomas and Alec. We're nothing if not bullheadedly persistent.
That look good in your end.
I think so, yeah.
Do you by chance see any indication of this is City Park over here? I'm not seeing any of these roads on here. I'm trying to think that maybe we're just like way off from where we think we are.
We saw so many maps of Denver, we didn't take any.
I know. We're like, we don't need those. Those are useless. We're leaving Denver.
But gradually, very gradually, we did make progress.
Alright, so we found Colorado Avenue, or Boulevard, but it came up much faster than we expected, so we are not in the left turn lane. Luckily, there's another street coming up called Quebec, as Thomas puts us in reverse. There was also an ambulance that came up and threw us off a little bit, but we think we're in a good spot now.
And believe it or not, we actually were in a good spot.
We have a sign for 70 over there. That's a very good sign.
To 70 East.
That's right, folks. After a meager 40 minutes of stumbling around Denver, we'd finally made it onto I-70. Our completely unfounded confidence was back.
Now, while our past selves spend the next few hours in the midst of a relatively uneventful drive to Kansas, let's take a few moments to discuss the nature of this seemingly elusive center. As we figured it, the center could have been calculated in one of several ways. Option 1, which seemed the most likely to us, was to take the longitude of the westernmost and easternmost points of the continental United States, then average them, then do the same with the latitude of the north and south. But that gave us a center point of somewhere not even remotely close to the broad target we were aiming for. Option 2, which seemed significantly less likely to us, was to just draw a box around the states as if they were flat, then find the center of that box. Unsurprisingly, this did not work either, and no, we're not flat earthers. Another option was to draw a circle and use a similar approach. And then there was a chance it was based on surface area, but we had absolutely no idea how to calculate that without a computer, so we were left with not a whole lot. Hence our rather haphazard plan of hoping for the best.
We're not even in Kansas yet. Nope, we're not even that close to Kansas. We're like halfway between Denver and Kansas is what that's for. Jeez.
Oh man, we gotta get like halfway across Kansas to
Yep. We knew what we were getting ourselves into. Now the poor Kia Soul did not know what it was getting itself into.
Do you see it?
See it?
No. See it?
Nope.
You see anything?
No.
So while Alec's over there getting gas, I want to take a minute to tell you about the sponsor for this video, Squirabum. Squirabum is an immortal being who...
Alright, so we are in Kansas. Now, we just had a look at the map. It's kind of a tall map. Seems like we're on a good trajectory here to stay on 70 for a while. We are looking for the towns of Russell and or Wilson. We think that those are about in the correct spot in terms of east-west for where the center of the contiguous United States is. But we need more details once we get to that spot. So we're hoping one of those towns has a map or brochure or something like that that could help us get to that.
You know what just occurred to me?
What's that?
We could ask someone.
That would require, like, social interaction, though.
But as it turned out, none of those plans would be necessary thanks to a marvelous stroke of luck at a nearby pit stop.
Looks promising.
So far, that's the best map of Kansas we've seen. Does this tell us where it is? Nope. Now this looks promising.
Kansas.
Kansas. Oh my word. Alright, this is a major moment for us. We found it. We found, look at this. Ready for this? Focus. Geographic center of the
Contiguous
Yeah.
United States.
Conterminous.
Oh, well, shoot.
Conterminous, contiguous, we figured it was probably the same thing and got to work.
Alright, so we're in Colby, and up here is the geographic center of the United States.
Alright, so we need to get from here to here.
We spent a bit of time deliberating over the route, but in the end it was quite straightforward.
We'll know we're getting close when we get to the Smith Center. And then we get to this intersection with 181, and then we're going to have to turn left and wing it.
I mean, yeah, we're going to be a good spot once we get to there.
Yeah. Well, the Atlas has extracted its blood price. This is what we pay to have such a clear, well-defined route ahead of us.
From then on, it was a simple matter of following the map, enjoying the view, and trying not to make too many wrong turns along the way. Several hours later, just as the sun was nearing the horizon and threatening to cut our adventure short, we finally saw it. Our first sign for the geographic center of the contiguous United States. Or continental United States, as far as this sign was concerned. Suffice to say, we were excited. So excited, in fact, that we forgot to check the zoom level on the camera to capture our reactions as we approached the ultimate goal that was the whole point of this entire trip.
Watch it be like closed.
But despite the unfortunate camera work, I think you can get a sense for it.
Geographic Center of the USA! Oh!
Oh, it's happening! It is happening!
Now, it's true that this essentially boils down to two guys managed to successfully read a paper map, and perhaps this reaction may feel a tad out of proportion for such a feat, but we were excited. Let's just enjoy it together, shall we?
Oh man, Alec.
Holy cow. We're about to accomplish our goal here, man. Oh, it's hard enough.
For those who are wondering, that was us accidentally dislodging the camera that was filming us. We fixed the positioning, but still didn't notice the zoom issue.
Alright, it's all falling apart at the critical moment here.
If we get to Nebraska, we've gone too far. Alright, at this point we're just following the signs of closing up the map.
I think that's what we gotta do. Yeah.
Boy, I see some flags.
Oh shoot.
Is this it, Alec?
I don't know, this might be
That's it. I think that's it.
Oh my god. I did not expect us to do this. I really thought there was going to be a catastrophic failure.
How do we park?
Having conducted an appropriate amount of celebration, we took a little time to enjoy the sunset, eat some food, and relax. It was the end of day 3, and we'd done it. Mission accomplished. But after all of this searching and confusion, you're probably wondering, how was the center actually calculated? Well, buckle up, hold on to your hats, and get that horse in gear, because it's time for some educational content. Hi there, class. I'm Professor Alec, and welcome to Locating the Geographic Center of the Contiguous United States 101. Let's jump right into it. As you can see here, we have a boring old map of the contiguous United States. But we're not here just to look at maps. We're here to determine their geographic center. And in order to do so, we don't really need this thing here. We need this thing here. Because back in the early 20th century, this is how the fine minds at the Coast and Geodetic Survey determined the geographic center of the contiguous United States. They made a cardboard cutout of the contiguous United States. And they then took that cardboard cutout and they hung it from a weighted string, and they traced that string onto the cardboard cutout. They then did that all over again from a different point on the cardboard cutout. And the point where those two lines intersected was the geographic center of the contiguous United States. Is that not so cool? I never would have thought of that. What does that mean? It means that they're smarter than I am, but that's okay because I'm smart in my own ways.
Yes, with their ingenious center of mass approach, the fine folk over at the Coast and Geodetic Survey had proven themselves wise beyond all bounds. Then everything changed. Hello, Professor Thomas here. My hair is shorter. I'm here to set the record straight. You see, they'd finally found the center, and the next thing they had to do was build the monument. But they didn't build the monument at the center. Nope, they just didn't put it there. Apparently, the actual center was on someone's private property, But it gets even worse, because after building the monument in the wrong spot, they later decided, we don't want it at all. No more center. It's gone. There's still a monument, but there's no more center. I did some research. You see here, there's a paper. It's written by one Oscar S. Adams, a senior mathematician over at the Coast and Geodetic Survey. It's very sassy. I recommend, going and reading it. But hey, dear old Oscar here, he says, and I quote, "It is hardly conceivable that such a point should meet any practical purpose." What is a practical purpose to me? I made a whole video about it with Alec. Practical. And, he continues, he says that this is a conception that depends almost entirely for its existence upon the curiosity of mankind. Well, yeah. I'm curious about the center. And you had one. And then you got rid of it. The point is, there's a monument still, and we found it all by ourselves with the help of an atlas. So we still did it.
Hello. Today we're going to Kansas City.
Having found ourselves unexpectedly free from the need for a last-minute scramble to find the geographic center at the start of day 4, we were able to actually enjoy some of the nice, peaceful scenery at the Airbnb we'd stayed in overnight. The host kindly gave us permission to film some of it. It was probably one of the most peaceful mornings we'd ever experienced.
Thanks, Historic Limestone Cabin Airbnb.
Now, where were we? Ah, yes, the road to Kansas City.
But first we're going to get breakfast, because last night we couldn't find anything other than gas station food, so we're hungry.
We had pancakes. They were good. We didn't film very much.
Along the way, we made a quick pit stop at the Herbert Reinhard Green Wildlife Area, where we had a walk around, stretched our legs, filmed some footage that we pretended was from yesterday, and even flew the drone around a little bit. Now back to the road trip.
Looks like Kansas City off in the distance. There, yep.
That's right, after a measly 2 montages, we'd finally finished our trip all the way across Kansas and arrived in Kansas City, Missouri.
Now you might be wondering why it's called Kansas City, Missouri. Well, let me tell you about continental drift. You see,
Alec,
all of us...
Alec,
Yeah.
Can you fact check this?
No. Why?
Obligatory Kansas City, Missouri joke complete, we went out and saw some of the city. There was a train, There were plenty of murals and pieces of artwork. There were some really impressive parks. And of course, another scenic sunset. Also, fountains and the moon.
The next morning, there was one last thing to do.
So that's pretty much a wrap on this trip, which means we don't need this giant map anymore, or the atlas, or some of the other stuff we picked up along the way. We wanted to go and give it back to a used bookstore since we got it from a used bookstore. Unfortunately, all of the ones around here don't seem to open until later in the day, and we had to go catch a flight. So instead, we're here at Goodwill, and we'll see if they want it. Well, they took it, or at least someone standing out there in front of the Goodwill took it.
Then it was off to the airport.
We're at the car return. We're at the car return location. It's time to say goodbye to the good Kia Soul. We're at 10,062 miles. So we did a pretty substantial little run there.
We'd visited 2 cities, 1 national park, several smaller parks, a lovely Airbnb, a great deal of highway, and of course, the geographic center of the contiguous United States. We'd completed our challenge, albeit with some help from a very convenient atlas, but it was time to head home. One more adventure behind us, we were ready to plan the next one.
Well, plan might be a strong word, but we'll probably end up somewhere. Somehow. Sometime. You know how it goes.